Hello, YouTube. Don't adjust your screen or flip it. You can try. Today we're painting Pariah from Kingdom Death Monster. If you're not familiar, this boss is a vampire man. He's a vampire and you fight him on the ceiling. So all the figures that he comes with are sculpted to be hanging from the ceiling. So we're going to paint him right side up, you know? So the question is, how do you paint a figure that's upside down? Well, you can ask if he's on the roof of a cave or some world where the floor is on the ceiling. Does the light come from above or below? Does it come from below? Or above? Or what? Is the light this way or this way? It's all very confusing. But I'm guessing it doesn't come through the ceiling. So the light would be coming from under him, which is above him. It all makes perfect sense. And every today's stream we're painting a vampire. He's hanging. See, look at him. Look at his feet. See, he's clawing. He's clawing into the ceiling. Machine Spirit Live, thanks for the Prime. 2 months. Appreciate it. So, we're painting a vampire man. He's a vampire. We're gonna in the whatever terms vampires are in Kingdom Death, where things are also weird, and I don't know if he actually drinks blood or if he's on I don't know. Does he drink blood? What does a vampire drink in the world of Kingdom Death? Maybe he drinks brain juice. Why are we upside down? No, we're right side up for him. God, get with the program, guys. Just painting on the ceiling like you do. Totally normal. I actually would find it really cool if someone did a piece with these things where it had like some sort of overhang or whatever and you could display them right side up, which is this way, and not this way, which is how you have to play them on the board. They're not doing cool handstands. She's hanging from the ceiling. See? You guys want to see the finished Space Marine? Here's the lamenter. This is the guy from last stream. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, thanks, Paul. And then we got this guy who's also done, and I haven't posted yet, but you guys can see him if you want. We have the Death Watch Sergeant. It's Uriel Ventress. I've had this figure for a while and wanted to use him for something, so. All right, so big man here. We're gonna grab some colors. We're gonna start to lay out some tones on him. I'm just grabbing some various colors to use for skin tones. He has a weird thing, jacket, that's also part of his skin. Just don't question it. It all definitely makes sense. No one's upside down. Everything is right side up. I'm painting him right side up. Yeah, you can ask questions. You fight him on the ceiling, gotta paint him on the ceiling, you know? All right, so I want him to be like pretty pale. So I'm gonna start with this sort of purplish tone I made here. We're gonna move up to like cool tones. I'm gonna start by just like blocking in the shadows, which are on top, because he's lit from below. Yep. So I'm just gonna block in all this stuff here. Oh, look at that. We haven't looked at that yet. Look at that. Dude has got some glutes. And now this video will be restricted on YouTube. absolutely normal Kingdom Death content right here. You were correct, Scott. That was, in fact, a quote from the Foreigner Belt episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Pretty tame, but you guys act like Kingdom Death is like really bad, and it's really not. Most of the monsters are not that weird. It's not all you know what T and D's. The wet, yeah, okay, well, the wet nurse is, but that's not even the actual playable monster in the game. If any motif is repeated often, it's hands. Hands and faces. I'm just going to cover these parts. So I left his cape off because I'll probably do a bit of it with the airbrush just for ease. And it also makes him like twice as tall. So yeah, just a little easier to paint without it on, you know. Hello. Hi, Tim's the Orange. How are you? I would ask if anybody, I just got him like last week. I would ask if anybody has played against this boss yet, but I'm going to assume not because he's pretty new. Wee baby Keegs. The work you did on the Spirit Dwarf really helped me with my latest project. Been deep diving your streams on YouTube. Thanks. I'm glad you find it helpful. Leave a comment, please. It helps. I promise. I have The recent videos have not been doing well. Like and comment, subscribe, or whatever. Yeah, I'm a professional. Even the Space Marines new heads video didn't do that great. It is plastic, yep. Yeah, he's plastic. He went together really well, actually. The cape was okay. It required a little filling, but the rest of them went together really nice. All right, I'm going to add a little more of this. So we're going to do this like cold, warm, cold thing. I want this a little gray, but not too gray. I'm going to mix like an intermediate skin tone here. And then as we move into the highlights, I'll get kind of warm or cold again. No, I have not painted the regular Pariah. Skinny Pariah? This is juiced. Where is he? Where's regular? Hold on, I'll grab regular Pariah. But I might fall if I... Whoa! So here's Skinny Pariah. I put them together. He has a cape too. I left it off for painting. So that's regular Pariah. And then this is juiced Pariah. Oh, sorry. He has to stand like this because he can't hang from the ceiling. Hello, Maso. A Lee. Hello, thanks for the prime. It's all upside down, dude. No, he's right side up for you guys. Or he's upside down, but you're looking at him right side up. That makes sense. If you really think about it. Why do warm, cold, warm? Warm, cold, warm, cold? Because warm midtones, his skin is slightly warmish, but the atmosphere is cold, so you get closer to the local value, the local color in the midtones. It's not really going to be warm, it's just slightly warmer. And then as I move to the highlights, it will get colder because I want a cold kind of cave atmosphere to him to make him very pale and vampirish. Is that the correct way of saying that? Hello, stick legs. The whole screen? No. What are you talking about? I'm right side up. I have to be upside down so that I can see him the correct way. You know, if you want to paint lights from below, paint your figure upside down. You will come to Monte this year? Yes. Yeah, I'll be in Monte. Monte. See, look how juiced up he is, dude. His pecs are so swole. My man is blood doping. Get it? Because he's a vampire? You guys get it? We baby Keegs. Hello. And Flapjack. Thanks for the Prime and the tier 1. Appreciate you guys. Put some light on them cheeks. Them glutes. My man doesn't skip leg day, obviously. Hi, do you have any books that you recommend for mini painting or just to understand volumetric painting in general? You know, this guy named Eric Swinson, he released this Art of book. I heard it's okay. What's the James Gurney book called? Color and Light, right? That one's pretty good. Machine Spirit Live, thanks for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. You can get it from Game Envy or Warlord Games, depending on where you are. Is it more geared towards beginners? Which book? Mine or... So mine doesn't really go into technique or anything. It more goes into like color theory. It talks about my projects and sort of my approach to selecting color. I just noticed that's his necklace hanging. See, look at this. Can you guys see his cross hanging from his neck? I was like, what is that? I'm using your snow recipe of Elmer plus Woodland Scenic snow, but keep getting bubbles everywhere when it dries. Any idea how to fix that? You can try hitting with a hair dryer with some heat for a little bit. That might get rid of some bubbles. I find that tends to work pretty well. If you get bubbles, you can always, like, if they're not too bad, right? You can kind of like, if you see them in it, you can kind of like pop them and push it down while it's still wet. The other thing you can do is after it, like you wait like a couple hours and pop it. So it's like pseudo dry. And then that tends to work pretty well. And then at the end, you can always just go back over it, you know, just add, it's not like you can't add more. Just add more snow. Tim the Orange, thanks for the tier 1 gifted sub. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. What a generous bunch you are today. And that is not, I may feel like that maybe came off sarcastically. That is me being genuine. Tech Priest Mir, thanks for the prime. Thank you. I had a level 3 hype train. Wow. Is that what's going on? Wait, is it September? Oh. Well, did you know that as a Twitch sub, you can join the Discord, ! Discord, and you get access to the Feedback Friday channel where you can submit your figures for viewer submitted feedback on Fridays. How was that, Steve? Bloops, thanks for the prime. Appreciate it. Every other Friday. It depends on how many I have. It's a every other Friday-ish thing. It sort of just depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes it's every other Friday. If there's a lot of submissions, I do it every Friday. Just sort of depends on when. Either way, I will get to your figure and your feedback at some point on a Friday. Perceptron, thanks for the tier 1. Thank you, thank you. So these are the weirdest parts of him. And you can see it on him too. So let's look at this one for a second. So if you look at his jacket, right, he's got his vest. Well, his vest is just part of his arms. So he has like a vest that just becomes the skin of his arms, but it's separate at the vest, like at the, whatever you would call this. So we're going to figure out a way to sort of do that with his arms also, where I kind of paint the vest a different color and then it kind of transitions into his arm. but it should be interesting. Hey, Eric, Francesco threw a nice compliment your way this weekend in his class with us. Well, because Francesco loves me, and I love Francesco. Why, what did he say? What did he say about me? I'm beautiful? He said, don't paint cast shadows. Go to Eric's class for that. Well, you know, I do, in fact, teach a class called Cast Shadows. I'm trying to decide if I want to offer it again at Adepticon. I don't know. I haven't decided. I need to submit my Adepticon classes, though. Cat Shadows, dude. Ah, I see. That's what I'm talking about. The man has good taste. Wow, hype. Okay, I guess it gave us this emote, whatever this is. Ugh, mood. I don't understand Twitch sometimes. I think you guys are kind of like me, where you're just like, man, I'm just here for the painting. Planning on any new classes at Adepticon? Yeah, I was thinking about one. I don't want to talk about it in case it doesn't happen, but I was considering one. I like to try and keep it fresh, you know? Offer something new and exciting for you guys. Would you do any classes in Spain or Europe anytime soon? Yeah. In Spain next year, probably. I think next year I'm going to come back to España. Voy a retornar a España. Porque me encantó España y mis amigos españoles. Any fun insider scoop so far that's shareable? Well, yeah, I'm teaching in Hamburg, but it's already sold out. Like we didn't even advertise it and it sold out. And I'm planning one in Torino or Turin, I guess, depending on where you're from. And is there any chance for a masterclass in Italy or Switzerland? Well, I literally was in Switzerland earlier this year, but yes, Italy, yes, North Italy actually. So close to the Swiss border, I guess. Quite close. What is happening here? Why is it? No, it's right side up, guys. Jeez. What? You guys crazy? Look at him. See? He's right side up. Well, he's upside down, but the figure is right side up. He's a man bat. Aren't the 26 Olympics in Torino? I don't know. Are they? Which Olympic? I'm not big on the, like, I don't really follow the Olympics that much. Is that the Winter Olympics? That seems like it would make sense for Torino, maybe. All right, so now we're gonna add a little blue. This is gonna wash this out a little more, gray this out a little more as we move up in value and start blocking in some of the highlights on his skin. I have to say the Alps are a pretty lovely place. See, look at him gripping that ceiling with his tootsies. Speaking of value, I started watching your Henry stream video you did. I hadn't had the results spoiled for me yet, but I'm digging the process. Thanks. Yeah, don't spoil it. It's fun. It must be tempting on YouTube where you can just skip forward. Sebastian, thanks for the 10 months. Appreciate it. I'm happy I can help put you to sleep. Everybody needs to get a good night's rest, and if I can assist you with that, then Makes me happy. Tell your kids, tell your wife. Watch the YouTube videos. They're free. Dude's got some Arnold chest going on, man. Hey, look, we'll flip them over for a bit so you can see. My man's got some striations. You guys know I'm in that server, right? No, I've been in the Kingdom Death server for like years. I just lurk. I'm just a lurker in that server. Just biding my time. So I know Lockham did the concept art. I wonder how much, it'd be interesting to ask Poots about this, but I wonder how much Lockham has like creative freedom on like the actual concept. Like I know he does the concept art, right? I wonder how much is directed him for a character like Pariah. If he's like, hey, I want to make sure he has 4 sets of arms, like, you know. I was going to say he's arachnid, but technically that would be incorrect because he has 5 sets of limbs, right? Like, why, besides just general weirdness, why 5 sets of limbs? Vanish Squared. Hello, thanks for the Prime. Hello, how are you? What? What are you talking about? It's totally right side up. Who brought this on Huso? I don't know what you guys are referring to. So, I was thinking about this the other day while I was building him. No, I'm upside down. So I can see him properly. What are you talking about? Hi, Shrek. Because when you're painting an upside down mini, it's easier if you're also upside down. You guys want to paint a light source coming from below? Just paint upside down. My man is so swole. You got to take breaks every once in a while. You know, you don't want too much of a head rush. So that's pretty normal. You know, it takes some getting used to. That made me think, which Mega... All right, here's a test for you guys. Maybe you all remember. Which Mega Man had... Was it Gravity Man? He was the one that would, like, had the little gates that you would pass through and it would flip the map upside down. Which Mega Man had Gravity Man? That's a main line? That's hard to say. Because I think there's 10, but then there's also Rockman and Forte, otherwise known as Mega Man and Bass. Then there's also X 1 through like 8. And then there's the Mega Man Zero games. There's Mega Man Battle Network. So there's a lot of Mega Man games. The GameCube RPG? I don't remember that one. Didn't what's her name? Who was it? Trombone? Is Trombone the one in the robot? 5 had Gravity Man. Woo! That was a cool gimmick. They flip the whole screen upside down on you. Keep switching the gravity and you gotta play on the ceiling. All right, so that's sort of, I mean, I'm going to add some little bit of color here and there, probably to like his hands and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of Mega Man games. But I think the mainline ones, I think there was 10 mainline and 8 X games, which were my favorite. I liked X. Well, I liked X 1 through 4. After that, there's 11 mainline. Okay. After 4, Mega Man X4, they're not so hot. Mega Man X4. Maybe X5 was good. I don't really remember that one. So I'm taking a little bit of this dark red, sort of magenta color here. I'm just glazing it onto his hands a little bit. You know, I'm going to glaze it onto his feet to give a little more color on his tootsies. I think it adds some nice variation. Remember Mighty Number 9? No, I don't. Never played it. I mean, I remember it, but I never actually played the game. So, not really. Some light really wouldn't hit here, but I'm just cheating a little bit to give some shape. I'll tone it down, but I just wanted to give a little bit of shape there. So I can't really see what's happening with his abs. I guess it's not really important. All right, so the next thing. I didn't do much up here. Oh, I need to add some pink to this hand too. That's the one they did like a Kickstarter. Was that a Kickstarter or? I know the guy from Castlevania did like a Kickstarter game. I do like a Metroidvania. You guys are lucky I'm even streaming right now. All right. You should all feel special because I could be playing Silksong right now. And I'm not. For you guys. No, I have not touched it. Am I thinking of Bloodstained? Yeah. Probably. No, I haven't touched it because I know if I do, I'm not going to do anything else other than play Silksong, so I have not. And I've got Space Marines to paint. You know, I've been painting this guy right here. I gotta have a cool breacher man. He's gonna breach, throw grenades. No spoilers. Do I have a Monty project lined up? No. So I have a few big projects, and none of them really. I think they're all a little too involved to get them done by Monty. So. Even for me, who paints quite fast. But I have some other stuff I have to do. So, another reason I'm not playing Silksong. I got too much stuff to paint, guys. There's too many figures that I need to paint or want to paint. You know what? I want to talk about this subject when I get back, actually. Because I'm going to go take a quick break, and I want to talk about this subject more when I get back. So, be right back. All right, we're back to right side up. I will remember to flip it over and now the mini's upside down though, so geez. Okay, so ¿por qué Eric es tan guapo? No sé. Hola, ¿qué tal? So, wanted to talk about, well, what did somebody ask? Oh, the Monty project, and how I don't feel like I have the time that I want to give it as much attention as it deserves. And I'm guessing some of you have probably felt that before, and I think that's fine. I've painted quite a few models this year. I actually counted last night. I've painted about 30 models this year. But only a handful of those are like what I would call like high display models, right? So like box art quality, competition quality display figures. And a lot of those, I like those display figures. I really pushed myself on, I think. So like, I think they're some of my best work I've ever done. I really worked hard on like the Clue and like the Weir and a Bly bust, the Mermaid and stuff. Like in terms of pushing myself creatively and technically, I think they're some of my best work. All right. However, that can take it out of you creatively, right? So I've also done a lot of just like gaming figures and stuff this year, things that I just, can relax and enjoy. And I think that's fine. I think there's this opinion that you always have to be like pushing yourself to do your best work ever. Like, I think you can improve in aspects like even my Space Marines, right? He's not perfect, okay? Like, there is things that I could do better, right? But there are parts where I did push myself. Like, the shoulder pad, for example, I think is quite well done and pretty technically refined, okay, for freehand, all right? Some of the OSL and stuff, like, I think is pretty cool and well done. There's some blending stuff that could be better, but they're gaming figures and they're not meant to be like Golden Demon winners. Okay? I think it's fine to just enjoy yourself sometimes. You can still learn and not paint, like try and, like not every piece needs to be some best of show winning piece or whatever. Okay? And yeah, sometimes you only have so much creative energy or drive to do those sorts of projects. And what I'm getting at is that's okay. Like, how many of you is painting your job? Me. It's my job. Did I go to GD? Yeah, I went to the Adepticon. I didn't enter. Right? Like, so you can take your time. You can paint the projects you want. If you're feeling motivated, I like competitions because they often motivate me to try my best and work really hard on something. But I don't feel the obligation that I have to push to like my highest level all the time, especially when I'm working on personal projects, right? Is this guy going to be the most refined thing ever? Probably not. Will he look cool? Well, on the table? Hopefully. I think so. So, the pressure that we put on ourselves is just that. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I don't know. What do you guys think? I know I've spoken to some other professionals that feel the need to like constantly one up or like present their work as like the best, whatever. They have to be going to be the best. And it's like, dude, the only one putting that pressure on you is you. You going to enter Adepticon this upcoming year? I don't know. Maybe. I haven't decided. Dude, that's so far away. It's hard to let go of wanting to push each model when I'm feeling like I need to be getting better at baseline skills. You can be getting better at certain skills without feeling that you have to, like it's like it needs to be to some standard or quality, you know? You can learn things. You mentioned in your book that you took private lessons from Alfonso. He would give me feedback, so I would send him just like Feedback Friday, but more in depth, basically. If you're always topping yourself, I would think burnout would be stronger pulling on you. Maybe. I don't think I've ever gotten burnout. Actually, that's not true. I've gotten burnout from like traveling and teaching, like where it's like long. That wears me out more than painting does. And sometimes I've had the feeling like, ugh, I don't really want to travel and teach. I'd rather just sit in my house and paint figures, right? Like I love painting miniatures, but there's a difference between painting miniatures for fun and painting miniatures, like a little bit of difference. And it's like I have to sometimes be in the mood to do something like paint the Clue, where I'm going to push it to like my skills to the extreme, right? I'm learning to do oil painting on canvas. I'm having a great time, and I was wondering if studying arts at university is worth it. I feel like I can learn the techniques and most of history by myself. It is free where I live, so it might be cool. I mean, if it's free, sure, why not? I got my Kingdom Deck core box in the mail this week, about to paint the white line. Cool. The white line is very cool. There's some cool figures in the original. In the OG box. I try to push myself, and sometimes that pressure of pushing what I can do will also make me really second guess the choices I make when tackling a piece. I'm trying to get back to not doing that. I think it's okay to second guess, like failing and is like learning, right? Not every single painting I've ever done is the best thing ever, right? I don't get everything right on every piece. But you learn from your mistakes and you move on, and you hopefully take some lesson away from it, and you learn and you apply that knowledge to your next figure, right? Definitely have projects that are fun and just vibing, but I do try and have maybe one or two elements I want to experiment. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like you can learn some things without the pressure of being like, no, it has to be for this and it's got to be this good and whatever. Like, am I going to probably take away any lessons from this guy? Probably not. At this point, you know, I could, or like Space Marines, like I'm likely painting those things on autopilot at this point, you know? I've done enough faces and other elements, like maybe it's free hands and things like that. I could learn some stuff on, or gain some brush skills. Actually, if anything, if I wanted to learn something on Space Marines now, I'd start doing some sculpting conversion work, So maybe I need to do that. And maybe that could be fun. And will they be the best? Will they be Valbjorn Space Wolves? Probably not. But they could be fun. I didn't go to university for art. So I went to a magnet school, but that was in during public school. I went to university for graphic design and programming. I enjoy pushing myself with models. I enjoy seeing myself excel. There is a kind of adrenaline high in learning while doing just hits the correct button. But then I kind of blindsided by my own limitations and I crash really hard. It's something I'm trying to discipline myself on. Yeah, people putting pressure on themselves, right? I know this is a weird conversation to have every time I do, because it's weird to speak from position like I've had, where I've had pretty good success in competitions and stuff, right? But I don't and you can believe me or not, I feel like I talked about this in if you listen to the podcast, you can be like, oh, this guy's full of it. But I really don't put any particular pressure on myself to perform to a certain level at painting competitions. I just do the best, that I can do. And when I'm feeling a point where I'm like, well, yeah, I want to really go for it, I go for it. But I don't have any expectations. Morning, JC. The more I study color theory, and the more I get slightly confused about cyan, magenta versus red and blue. Is one a better depiction? Or is it the cyan is what blue looks like in the... What? No, they're just different colors. Magenta and cyan are primaries. They're just different, right? You can make a red with magenta and yellow. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Popjack. That explains it better, right? They're just better primaries at receiving a wider color range. But I don't believe in primaries, so... I don't think primaries have any particular value, in terms of usage, like who cares? Just use what color you need. You're never going to get as good a violet as actual violet paint. So if you need violet, just grab a violet. Burnt umber, whatever. Like, you need a brown, just grab a brown, right? It's hard to mix a good brown. Do you make money only from commissions, or some of your original works are sold to collectors as well? Yes and yes. So no and yes, I guess. Do you make money only from... No, I don't make money only from commissions. Actually, probably half my income is likely from teaching. Is probably where like half of it comes from. The other half is from box art and collector commissions. Some years teaching's a little more. Sometimes some years commissions are a little more. Just depends. Depends on how much traveling and stuff I'm doing. Did I miss Merkusen? Thanks for the tier 1. Oh, I'm sorry if I did. Hello. Thank you. Gracias. I think I remember you talking about Spanish earlier. Muchísimas gracias, señor. Anyways, that's my rant about painting display models and stuff. Just enjoy it. Especially if it's a hobby for you, just have fun. Just paint what you enjoy, okay? No expectations. If you enjoy pushing yourself, that's cool too. But I hear a lot of talk about like, well, I'm entering this and I want to make sure I'm at this level and blah, 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 blah. You'll get there eventually. Journey before destination, guys. Do you think it's easier making a living as an artist painting miniatures or traditional canvas painting? I don't know. I have no idea. Depends. I guess it depends on what you want to do, right? I bet you could make a decent living painting miniatures if you wanted to just do army commissions, but if that's what you want to do, like, I don't know, like that for me would not be fulfilling. Acore? Is that Rodrigo? Rodrigo, ¿es tú? Hola. ¿Qué tal? Señores and señoritas, you should go follow Rodrigo. What's Rodrigo's Instagram? Rodrigo Ocorre. Or Rodrigo Cipres. Or you probably already follow him. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted just the link. Copy link address. There you go. He's also been painting some Death Watch recently. And in my humble opinion, one of the smartest miniature painters in the world. What do I mean by smart? Rodrigo is, in my opinion, incredible at painting 32 millimeter models, like small scale stuff, and very good at making like smart, efficient choices on his work so he can paint. Dude paints faster than me, I'm pretty sure. Like, he just places a brush stroke and it's like perfect. It's like, I'm gonna put this little line right here and it's like perfect. I like the color so far. What color hair you guys think he should have? How do they draw him in the artwork? I think he should have like white hair, huh? Like a white blonde. Is Kingdom Death a tabletop skirmish game, a dungeon crawler? I keep seeing it around. It is a it's Civilization meets Monster Hunter. It is a settlement builder / boss fight board game. So like Monster Hunter, you don't do a lot of just, there's not like trash mobs really. It's just about the boss fights, and then the like building aspect of the game. So yeah. It is my favorite board game. All right, so on his arms, right? I guess this one it's like more cut off than on the other one, but we'll do it a little on this one too, just to make them more similar. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to like transition some of this dark tone from his skin like up towards his arms, or like up towards his shoulder, so like his biceps and stuff will transition from a lighter tone to a darker tone, like his coat is part of his skin. Basically like the Kill Team Typhon, or the if you're familiar with Warhammer at all, the Typhon color scheme of the Tyranids, where their like carapace starts to blend in with their skin a little bit. Something like that, you know? Francesco brought the new Chimera Velvet inks to class. Have you tried them? If so, what do you think of them? The Velvet? Like the inks? Yeah, I've tried them. They're good. I like them. I like a good ink. They're not really like your typical inks, but they're really nice. All right, so we're gonna have, right, so this is gonna transition away as it moves down his arm. So what I need to do is I need to darken under some more so that it matches a little better that transition color, right? So that on top and on bottom it like equally changes value as it shifts up his arm. Are they more like a transparent pigment? Yeah, they're a little, they're not as fluid as your typical ink. They're also not as glossy as a typical ink either, which could be a nice thing, you know. All right. Boom. So I am going to introduce a further color into him at some point here. Like I might do his weird bat parts more reddish. I think that could help draw some attention to his face. His bat collar. Huh? Oftentimes when I'm mixing paints on my wet palette from Chimera to Pro-Kill, they seem more diluted with water than creamy piles like you have. Any thoughts on what could be causing that? It could be like the general relativity, like relative humidity of the room. It could be your palette papers like letting more water through. It could be like you're just mixing too small of piles. You have too much water on your brush, right? Like mix a little heavier. I see a lot of people mix like these really thin, like these little tiny piles of paint because you guys think you're going to waste paint or something. What a cool cod piece this guy's got. So y'all, do you play video games? Yeah, sometimes when I'm not busy. We were talking about Silksong earlier. I have not started playing it yet because I have the problem where if I get into anything, I get like really into it. So I have too much stuff to work on, or that I want to work on, and not enough time to sit down and play a video game for a whole week. Because that's what will happen. I will play it like nonstop. I'm sure it's excellent. Which is, again, why I'm not playing it at the moment. No, I refuse to play games like Path of Exile. Those are also on my will never play lists because I don't play games without endings. If it doesn't have a determined ending, not touching it. Yes, I beat all of Hollow Knight. Well, I say that I didn't beat the final like boss gauntlet where you have to fight every single boss in a row. That I made it like pretty far through it and then went, nah, I'm good. But I beat every boss like individually. Nightmare Grim took a while. Any new box art that grab your attention that you want to do that one? I know you can't show. You mean like ones that I'm going to do? I'm not going to talk about. No, I'm not going to talk about. Not even going to say anything. I will not speak of unreleased figures. Hey, Gary, can you keep a secret? Mistress of Torture, hello, thanks for following. Oh, you can? You had multiple NDAs in the past? Yeah, I can too. Man, if this camera had a wider angle lens, what you guys would see. Some chorfs? No, I don't have any chorfs. They don't send me chorfs. I don't get fantasy stuff. Shush, Discord. Shush. Okay. So he's like kind of blocked in. Obviously, I gotta do his hair. They don't need to send it to me because I ain't gonna do anything with it. Hi, Richard. I'm good. Though I could tell you, if they brought back more time, I might be interested. Yeah. Why not? No. What about Battlefleet? Nah, I don't want to paint me tiny ships. I'm good. Yeah, dude, people are still playing it. There's a whole like community run thing of people that like keep it updated and stuff. It's crazy. But it'd be cool to see some new models for it, you know? I think between that and Blood Bowl, like the people that are into those games, they are like really into that game, you know? The same people still out here, just like still playing it years later. I mean, I know they brought Blood Bowl back, but even before they brought it back, like people were still all about that game. Like Inquisitor, yeah, it's low model count. I think it's roughly like Kill Team, where it's like 6 models or something, you know? Maybe more, you know, a little more if you're playing Skaven or something like that. But I think it's a generally low model count game. I introduced my parents to miniature painting with Warcrow Adventures. That's the new Corvus Belly one, yeah? I think. They should bring back Mordheim in 54 millimeter. Like Inquisitor, dude. I don't think they're ever going to do that again. That'd be cool, though. You guys remember Inquisitor? No. Maybe some of you do. Perhaps some of you remember Inquisitor. Your Rona baby, he started during the great locked in your house, the great quarantine. The miniature painting renaissance. Dude, there's so many people that started at that time. They're like, I'm locked in my house. I need a hobby. Okay, so I think I want to add a little bit of, I think I'm going to take some of this with some of this and create like a pale sort of color here. Maybe a little of this guy too. That might be too light. And we're going to give him some bounce light here. So it's like where the light is hitting his little arms underneath. We can introduce a slightly warmer tone where the light is bouncing off of his skin. His other arms. All right, something like that. Clean that up a little bit. I got some parts to clean up around his face and stuff. But I'm liking this cold feeling to him right now. He feels pretty undeady, you know. It will be fun to add more, like when I start adding some color around here. And just a bright orange cod piece, you know. Give Fulgrim vibes? Maybe. Just this super pale color. I'm going to push the highlights on his skin even more. I really want them to be quite light. I'm going to focus first more up towards... I mean, all this stuff's got to get blended out. I know some of you like to be like, no, I want to watch you just blend. Well, there's videos where I do that. And I feel like it can be a little on the boring side. You guys want to watch me blend this forearm for 45 minutes? You guys say you want to watch that. The YouTube analytics say otherwise. So just placing highlights around. Trying to focus on some areas of interest, you know, so it's going to be like his forearms, his hands, his tiny hands. Like I said, I liked practicing painting hands, so he's got plenty of them. Look how many thumbs up he can give. He can give 8 thumbs ups. That would be a heck of an endorsement. Maybe you noticed I'm kind of shifting the highlights here. Like, instead of painting them in the center, I'm kind of shifting them off to one side a little bit. So it's more like, instead of straight onto his body like this, it's slightly more like this, right? Instead of here, they're here. I think the view is slightly more interesting. It's got that wicked Joker smile. Smiley boy. I do think this is. I was excited to paint this guy because I think this is one of the better Kingdom Death sculpts. Like, I really like his proportions and pose and everything. I think it's imposing. It's not too static. Like, it's got a nice. It's not like super dynamic, but it's got a nice contrapose to it, I guess you could say. Or this one, you know, this one's okay, but he just looks like the Crow, right? Still a little static. You know, arms out really straight, standing up straight, legs straight. This one's got some tension to it, right? Is it covering the chest though? I mean, his arm, these arms are, but his chest is actually open. If you mean his stomach, but his stomach isn't really closed off because his stomach is the little arms. And also, rules are made to be broken. Don't be the guy that's like, you said this thing one time in context to this, and I took it as gospel. But Eric said cast shadows never show up on metal. All right, here we go. Ready? We're going to look at... All right, there you go. Batman. 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 I think he needs a good dark cape color too. I think he's going to generally just be pretty dark. And then light hair and some kind of gold face mask or something. Brass, something like that. I don't know if his face mask is supposed to be metallic or if it's like more weird stretched skin or something like his shoulder, like his vest is. It's very bizarre. He's a weird guy. He's weird. All right. I'll be right back. BRB. Yeah, I was thinking like a dark purplish, some kind of dark purplish wine red kind of thing or something. Anyways, be right back. Hi, everyone. What else do I want to do on him right now? I feel like working on the skin some more. It's probably a good thing. This vampire. The question is where to approach and what part and where. I want to make sure that the hands in particular, like all the arms and stuff, have plenty of contrast and lining around them. You have a lot of details here. You want to make sure get nice and outlined so you can read them well. No, I know I've talked about the importance of dark lining. These ambient occlusion shadows so you should be able to see just how much more readable like the fingers are on this one than they are in the hand right next to it. Right? So we want to use some good outlines in order to increase, which may require, going back and fixing up some things, but, that happens. That's why it's just sketched. If we accidentally touch some parts, no big deal. All right, so you should be able to see now how much definition is increased that way, right? Hi, Smudge Miniatures. This is Pariah, the level 3 specifically, from Kingdom Death Monster. He is one of, actually, now that I think about it, other than like the Gigaline, who's like a special version of the white line, I believe he's the only miniature in the game that has an alternate figure for the higher level version. I think I'm correct in saying that. Someone can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I don't count the Gigaline because that's like an expansion. Same with the Colonium Butcher. No, that doesn't count. It's a separate encounter. Giga Lion sounds like a final attack from the Mega. Yes, the witches do also change, actually. They came out at the same time, so the witches also, but they don't like change miniatures. You add one for each level, so it's a little different, slightly different. So it's like you start by fighting one of them, then you fight two of them at level 2, and then you fight all 3 of them at level 3. So God Hand, I guess, would be the closest thing, where it's like you fight the hand and then there's a powered up version of him. Frog Dog has Bullfrog Dog, but yeah, if same with actually the was it the ancient Frog Dog has Bullfrog Dog, yeah, he's the same model. He should have a different actual form. And then also Gorm has like the ancient Gorm or whatever, yeah. Did they say there would be a Bullfrog Dog miniature at some point? I don't remember. There's like part of my brain goes, yeah, I've seen that. But also I seem to remember an ancient Gorm being shown at some point also. So, yep. There is so much stuff still to come for Kingdom Death that I can't remember it all. I guess Sunstalker's kind of like that now too, where there's going to be the baby Sunstalker and the big Sunstalker. Yeah, there's the spider. Is there going to be the Daunt? What? I don't get it. Yeah, there's the legless Spidocles, or however you say his name, and then there's what's the other one? There's another one. Oh, like Ancient Butcher and Dung Beetle Baron. So they're making like a few more that have like powered up alternate versions of bosses. Which is pretty cool. See ya, slaps and ice cream. Take it easy. The Gregalope, the Nucalope. Oh yeah, hit me with that TOS. This is going to be the YouTube thumbnail right here. Trying to get my channel demonetized. Haha, tricks on you. It's not monetized in the first place. Cool. All right, so you guys wanted it. Let's start refining, huh? Everyone was like, oh, dude, I just want to watch Eric blend some forearms. Oh, forearms. Oh, dang. Hilarity. So I'm going to reduce the, when you're working in like super subtle tones like this, these grays, I'm going to reduce the reds a little bit in like on the actual like arm part of the arms and use more of the reddish, the like violet kind of tones towards like the elbows and the fingers. So as I move into these sorts of parts here, I'm going to shift the tonality a little bit more gray, greenish sort of tones. They're not green, really green, but this will focus the warmer grays more towards the hands and sort of the focal areas. All right, so here you can see shifting the midtones slightly more bluish, okay? And a little bit more of that blue-gray, and it leaves more of that reddish tone in the parts that I want. I'm painting along while you stream, so really delayed in my response to your forearm joke. It wasn't me, it was Tophilus. Because he's got 4 arms, get it? I can't claim that one. Because he's got 4 sets of arms. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I'm painting my kill team. Which one? What? I was too. I was painting this guy earlier today. I was working on the black armor on my breacher. Because I need a guy that can break down walls for 0 AP. The Plague Marines. Plague Marines are cool. I like that team. Actually, I'd have to double check. I'm pretty sure he can, though. A servo skull. I don't believe they say reduced to a minimum of 1. Okay, so while I'm doing these small volumes, you can see that I'm kind of going, right? I'm not trying to like get super and glaze here, but to reduce some of the like really strong brush strokes and soften this a little bit. Like there's some pretty hard brush strokes right here, right? This line is like super clear. Okay. I'm going to go across the volume, right? Similar to how you would do hatching on a pin drawing. I'm going to do the same with some of the paint here. So I can start to soften this volume through hatching. And add some roundedness to the form. So the brush strokes, the little tiny brush strokes, emphasize the form a little bit. I'll soften it further, but you get the idea. For the black armor, what colors are you using for the reflections? I see sky blue on the other videos, but the others are hard to tell. Thinking teal and black. I use Eric Swinson. My black Space Marines are Eric Swinson Tenebrous Teal. How about that? My own Space Marines use my own signature color. Crazy. I like some good forearm veins too. He's got some forearm veins, man. These like little tiny micro details. They're fun to paint. Similica? Hello, welcome. This might be too blue for what I'm going for. This is why I'm not super concerned with this yet, because I need to paint this part too and kind of figure out how I want to do these leathery parts. Like maybe I actually want them more reddish, so I might have to adjust the upper arms. I was just trying to get like a basic transition there. So that might require some adjustment. So I'm not going to concern myself too much with that at this stage. Another part that I would like to add a bit more of this reddish tone to is his upper chest. You tend to have a bit more reddish values here, reddish hues in the upper chest, near the clavicle. Inferno. Hi, Allison. Thanks for the tier 1. Hey, Allison. Is this against TOS? He's got a thong. Well, that's good because I've been showing it the whole. I've been painting that booty the whole time. Oh, man's caked up. Thanks. Last one was good. We got through everything. Hi, Striker. When's your next event? Well, that depends on what you consider an event. My next trip is to Montreal at the beginning of October. And then it is in mid-October, the big Euro tour. So off to the Netherlands and Germany and Italy. Yep, got a few. Got one in Hamburg, one in Torino. I'll be going to Essenspiel. the Essen. I've heard it's absolutely crazy. Any cities I haven't been to? Yeah, there's a lot of cities I haven't been to. There's whole continents I've never been to. I've only ever been to Europe and North America. Oh, any cities I haven't been to on my trip? Well, technically I've been to Hamburg, so I guess I can't count that one. Though I didn't really visit. It wasn't like I was only there for like we kind of drove through. I guess technically I've been to Torino. Well, I've been through Torino. So like, but another one. I've never been to Essen, so there's that. As soon as they figure out how to make air travel not take 30 hours to get to Australia from the east coast of the United States, you guys need to work on that. He's got pale skin. How would I approach an actual human albino skin tone? I would look at reference. I know that's a bit of a cop-out answer, but I've never painted a albino human before. So I would look at reference. I would analyze what I see, what's the underlying tones, and I would work from there. It's 6 from the east coast of the US to the west coast. So it's 16 from San Francisco. It's 6 to San Francisco. That's 22. Add another 3 hours to get to an airport that can actually fly me to San Francisco. Because it'll be like an hour trip to Atlanta and then 2 hours to change over. So that's another 3 hours. Because there's no direct flights from here to the West Coast. Like, I'm not getting a direct flight to Los Angeles from here. So that's, yeah. So 16 plus 9 hours. So 25 hours, let's say. And then you add the 3 hours to get to or to actually go to the damn airport, which is the worst. It's like, just let me show up. Yeah, I mean, it takes me the same amount of time, basically, to fly to London as it does to fly to the west coast of the United States. And come on, Australians, you guys should know. If anyone should know, you guys should know just how big the US is, because your country is the same size. Look, let's do a miniatures cruise, like 14 days, okay? We'll get on a boat, all right? We'll just paint miniatures on a ship throughout the Pacific. We'll go to Hawaii. It'll be a fun time. And we don't have to sit on a plane. We can all go back to our hotel rooms on a boat. Sorry, cabins. I did 21 days to Japan on a, is that LPD? I don't know what that is. How big is that? So I bring all my figures and paints. I could get work done on a boat, on a ship, you know. Heck, I live in a Navy town. I knew plenty of sailors who would leave the game store on leave for 6 months, and they'd come back and have a whole new 40K army done. $470-foot military transport for Marines. Well, yeah, of course it wasn't fun. You were on a boat with 800 other Marines. That sounds awful. Guys just stand in line and work out. Yeah, that's a pretty good size one. They need something to do on the ship, I guess. Do you recommend using classical oil painting as a reference or something like for something like skin? Is it always better to use real reference like photos? It is better to use real reference, but it takes some training in order to see, because classical paintings are oftentimes representation, right? We do what is called our classical painting representational art. You have hyperrealism and you have representational art. Okay. The representational art is fine to use as reference, But what you need to do is you need to understand what you're like. The whole point of doing reference from other art is you want to try and understand the decision making of the artist, right? We have a tendency to exaggerate things. Like even now, as I do the like fingers and stuff in a more warm tone, you could see there's like some color differentiation in my hand, especially here. You could see there's more reddish tones, right? But we have a tendency to exaggerate these things. And OK Guardian, thank you for the Prime. Hello, welcome. Welcome back. You had my favorite steak. I had my favorite steak over the weekend. A little New York strip, dude. A nice New York strip. Or did you get the special cut, the cut in between? That's really good. If you can get that, there's like you can get like 3 to 4 steaks out of the small part in between the. It's probably not even 3 to 4. It's probably like 2. You can get like one of those cuts that's right in between the ribeye and the New York strip. I was thinking about painting a miniature based on a painting by Brahm. I'm trying to stay faithful to the original. In that case, would it be good to use it as reference? Yes. In fact, I did. You can go and watch a video where I literally did just that. I don't remember how many parts it is. I didn't finish it. But the very first video is me like analyzing the artwork, right? It's not just copying. There's copying and then there's like analyzing. I think it's socials. And let's try. Does that work? Hey, there you go. The link doesn't work? It does. It goes to my channel. I mean the link doesn't. Huh? I literally just clicked on the YouTube one and it worked. Anyways, point I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make was anytime you paint anything from reference, it is not about, the trick is not to copy, okay? The trick is to train your observational skills. If you can learn to observe better, You can only paint as well as you observe. Or something like that. Boom, 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 boom. Can you unload that statement for plebs like me? You can't draw, you can't, if you can't see the difference, then you can't understand the difference. Does that make sense? Like, say I take two figures, right? I don't have two figures of different levels right now. But let's say I had two Space Marines painted to different levels. If you can't see the difference in the level, how can you know how to paint, like what it would require to paint the difference in the level, right? The same as like, if you can't see the subtleties and the nuance in the skin tones, or you can't see how the lights work on the volumes and stuff, how can you know how to paint those volumes if you can't see them? Your eye, you can only paint as good as your eyes can see. Yeah, you need to understand what you're looking at. Because maybe you can do a copy, all right? And you can maybe replicate a copy, but that doesn't really teach you anything, right? Because then what happens when you go to paint something that you don't have a reference for, right? Like, oh, I'm going to make a... And oftentimes when you have figures that there is some two-dimensional reference for, right? I've done quite a few. Sometimes in order to make it into 3D, it requires some interpretation of the drawing by the sculptor, which then means it's going to require some interpretation by the artist, right? So yeah. Don't just go, oh, I see he used an orange here. Ask yourself, why did he use an orange here? Yeah, exactly, like the goblins, yep. I've done quite a few. I've done one based on like Paul Bonner, one's based on Warcraft, one's based on Warhammer. I've done, the Adrian Smith goblins. So but the ones in the tree I did use the reference. But the three that weren't, I did not. I painted them kind of on my own. But I had learned some things about how Adrian like renders metal and stuff that was applicable when I did the first ones to painting the second ones, the second set. Like, is today's stream getting a little too philosophical? Gonna start talking about movies and stuff. I don't know, maybe you guys like this. Guys, how we talk about painting is how we think about painting. How we think about painting is how we approach and actually paint. Okay. I do have to say I'm enjoying this figure quite a bit. I'm having fun painting him. Like we talked about earlier, that's what's important. Oh, yeah, look at that arm vein, dude. Macro. Hello. Hi, how are you? Got any more deep philosophical questions, chat? What is the meaning of life and why is painting cool thing? The meaning of life is to pass on your biological DNA. No. Hey man, just have fun. Whatever. Just enjoy yourself, you know? We talked about this earlier. Just paint when you have fun, you know? Just enjoy it. got to pass on your genetic material. So that you can make more miniature painters. Gotta have kids so that somebody will be around to play Kingdom Death when all of it finally comes out. Do your painting projects talk to you as you bring them a lot? Like literally is talk to me? Like in my mind, or like do they speak to me on a deep emotional level? Because I think the answer is typically no to both. I don't tend to think of my figures or my pieces on a deep emotional level. If I can name drop for a second, I feel like I've maybe talked about this before, but I was having dinner with Paul Bonner at SMC. It was not the only. It's not like we were having a intimate dinner between the two of us. It was a large group dinner, and somebody asked him, like, because there's this whole conversation about is miniature painting art and blah 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 blah, and my personal opinion is, I don't care what you call it. They asked him the same thing. If you don't know who Paul Bonner is, he did a lot of the artwork for like Rackham Confrontation and Magic the Gathering and Warhammer, blah, blah, many other fantasy, things. I asked him the same question. Do you do what you consider, do you consider what you do art? And he was like, I'm just a dude who sits in my room painting orcs and goblins and dwarves. And I was like, heck yeah. He's like, I don't care if you call it art or not. I'm just having a good time drawing goblins. It is what you make of it. Thanks, Super Marco. He looks like this. Whee! Because you got to look at this figure too. So they can fight each other upside down. We haven't looked at him like this in a while. He's a Batman. Not the Batman. But a bat-like man, I guess. Vampire. No. Most of the time, Richard. Do you ever talk to your minis brush paint? No. No, most of the time when I'm not talking to you guys, I'm just sitting here listening to an audiobook. Aren't you supposed to do an anime character? What? What? Thought the guy would. No, he's up. He's hanging upside down. Here's his cape. It goes on somehow like that. So he's hanging from the ceiling. Do you picture the book when you listen to it? No, because I have aphantasia, so I absolutely do not. I just hear the words. Yeah, you can see like his necklace is hanging. Well, it's kind of hard to see, but he has a little cross necklace hanging up like from his neck too. It's like dangling. And he's got his toe hooked around that, and his other toes are like dug into the he's like cracking the rock where he's dug his toes in. I'm listening to the Horse Heresy series these days. I tried, dude. I couldn't get through Horse Rising. I gave it a fair shake. I got like halfway through that book and was like, don't care. I've listened to other 40K books. I was like, this one ain't doing it for me. What is his name? It's not Horace Luke. It's who's the main character of the first book? Hey, Loken? Is it Loken? It might be. Lucan? Loken? I don't know. I just didn't find him to be. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I actually don't find Space Marines to be very compelling characters. I hope that when they do make the Amazon TV series, that it's not about Space Marines, because they're not, that you can't relate to them. They're superhuman, near emotionless, hypno-indoctrinated zealots that are like basically unkillable. They're kind of stoic, one-noted, and pretty boring. Please, anything but that. No, not the Custodes. You mean the even more pure, incorruptible Space Marines? We're like you, but better in every way. Oh, cool. That is the most Warhammer thing ever, though, is to be like, we have these superhuman soldiers. They're the world. They're the Imperium's greatest force and last hope. They are the angels of death. They will save us and lead us to salvation. Except that we also have these guys that are even better in every way. But we only made like, I don't know, 1,000 of them. Get me ranting about how lame custodians are again. Literally everything in Warhammer is cooler than Custodes. Everything. Nah, you can like Tau if you like. Who cares? Like what you like. I don't think they're cool, but if you like them, that's fine. Yeah, I mean they're anime. They somebody stuck anime in my Grimdark, but that's whatever. That's what you're into. So what am I reading or listening to at the moment? I am listening to Snow Crash by Neil Stevenson. I finished all of Dungeon Crawler Carl. And I've been listening to that. I've never listened to it before. I figured I would. Nope, never. It's getting way more religious-y than I thought it would. I've read Neuromancer and what's the other one? Something Crash. No, not Crash. Dang it. What's the other William Gibson? Is it Mona Lisa something and My brain just stopped working trying to remember the name of this book. Hey, did you guys know that there's a new Witcher book coming out? My favorite audiobook this year is The Devils. The Devils. I'm sure that comes as a surprise to you all. Mona Lisa Overdrive or Count Zero. Yes, I've read Count Zero. And I've read all three. Those books were not the best to listen to while painting. They have, well, actually, Snow Crash has a bit of it too, but they have super nonlinear storytelling, and it is intentionally to make it intentionally confusing. And yeah, I did not super enjoy it. There was moments where I was listening to it and I was like, what the heck is going on? Listen to any tunes while painting? Sometimes if there's not a book I want to put on, I will listen to some music. I liked what is it called? There's a term for this. The prose, I guess, like, of Neuromancer. You know, the way he describes things was very, I enjoyed. I did not love the actual story that much. I found it quite hard to follow. I like pretty easy to follow fantasy books. Like, Joe Abercrombie is really good at like character, like writing characters, but the actual like plot and stuff is not super deep, right? It's not full of, I mean, it's got a bunch of allegory and stuff like that, but you can enjoy it on the surface level too. Yeah, you can get really lost during the scene changes quite easily. All right. I think I'm probably about done for tonight. I feel like I got the skin at least like pretty good. I'm just going to apply a little wash over the fur here just to give it a little more shape. And make adjustments later, but probably, I mean, there were some times when I was listening to Neuromancer, I basically never have to go like rewind and be like, what did I miss? There actually was a big moment I missed in Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I should probably just look up. But there was like a moment with, if you know what I mean, there's a moment where they like skip a whole floor. And I was like, what happened? How did that happen? I know who caused it. but I don't exactly remember how he did it. And I was like, what? And I feel like it went by like that. Anyways, we're going to stop the recording here. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Once again, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, press the like and leave a comment. Thanks. Bye.